My name is Jarad Giddens. I'm the mayor for Nixa, and I'm also business development for Meridian Title Company.
And that's how you and I know each other.
Yes.
So how did you become mayor?
So, I moved to Nixa about 20 years ago. It was kind of a crazy deal how I found the house, and back then Nixa seemed so far away from Springfield, and now it's almost mashed together.
What was the population 20 years ago?
16,000.
Wow, and what is it now?
25,000.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually 2,000 when I was born.
So it's grown that much?
Yeah, and it really took off.
Why do you think it's grown that much?
Well, honestly, the reason I think it's grown so much is part of the reason why I stayed in Nixa.
Yeah.
And when I got here, I was 19 years old. Going to gas stations and grocery stores and just any place in Nixa, you stand there and have conversations with people.
Yeah.
It was a small town, but it wasn't that small, and it was so close to everything else. So what Nixa didn't have, you could get in Ozark or Springfield or Republic or Branson, and it's an easy drive to all of those places.
So you moved here when you were 19. Obviously, you stayed in Nixa for a reason. Why Nixa out of all the cities around Springfield?
We had our first child, and we did a lot of research. I went to Springfield schools, had a great experience, but Nixa schools were really starting to get up on the top of the list of best schools in the area. We kind of decided, our first one stayed and started going to kindergarten here, and then we had another daughter, and she got into the schools, and I was actually sitting at home one day and I was reading the city newsletter, and there was an opening on city council.
Wow.
And I did not know what it all entailed, but I decided that this was home and I wanted to be involved. So I actually put my name in for that and ended up on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And the amount of stuff that I learned and the processes and procedures of city government was really cool. And then someone stepped down on city council and the mayor called me and asked if I would want to be involved. And I was actually sworn into city council in 2019 and did my 3-year term, and then decided I might as well run for mayor. I love serving this community and the people are great.
So let's talk about the nitty gritty, the pros and cons of Nixa. I want to hear a lot of bad, no good, okay?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So let's talk about obviously the great things about Nixa. What's to come of Nixa and stuff like that. So what is the pros?
One of the best things obviously is community. This community rallies around each other no matter what's going on. You can tell that on a Friday night at a football game, not just by going to the football game. You can go into the restaurants and they're streaming the football game and people are cheering it on and everything. It's not just the sports. I mean, it's the band and the dance team and the cheerleaders and speech and debate, everything, and swim and soccer. I mean, there's so many things that people come to this area specifically for.
So how could someone get connected into the community like quickly?
And that's what's great about Nixa is all you have to do is, you can call me, and
you can call the mayor directly.
Yes, and I'll get people set up with Chamber of Commerce within the school. We have a really good relationship between the school, the chamber, and the city. We have monthly meetings where we kind of update each other, talk about things that are good, things that might be bad, and get that stuff addressed before it becomes a huge issue. And so it's still, even though we're considered a large city at 25,000 people, you still have that tight-knit group, small town feel.
So call him directly, say you saw this on this video, said Jesse Weiser said I can call you anytime.
Yeah, just go to nixa.com. All my contact info is there.
So what more about Nixa is a pro? Like there's places to eat, there's other things. What's your favorite place to eat in Nixa?
I have to be careful answering that question.
Okay, I will say it.
Because I have a lot of friends that run businesses here. We have a really good variety. We don't have a lot of different places, but we have the best Italian.
Oh, yes. I wanted to say it.
Oh, Piccolo.
Piccolo is the best Italian, even in Springfield.
It's amazing. Area. And that family is awesome. They do so much for the community, for the schools. We have Coyote's best wings possible. Big Whiskeys. It's actually the owners of Big Whiskeys are Nixa people.
Yep, they live
around here. So the Nixa location is awesome.
It's a franchise, goes everywhere.
But you feel that hometown spirit at the one here in Nixa. It's awesome. And then the most recent, 14 Mill Market. I had heard someone say that 14 Mill Market is like a marriage counselor. Because you just go there and then you can decide what you want to eat. You don't have to have that discussion of what we're eating tonight. So there's a central bar
Yeah.
And so you can sit there and have a drink and then figure out what you want to eat. And then whenever you're hungry, you go get your food. And whenever I'm hungry, I go get mine.
That does sound like a dream. That is a pro.
That's a huge pro.
There's nothing like it around here, only in Nixa.
Yeah, they, the owners,
Yeah.
they've been involved in the community for a long time. They went and visited all these other ones and came up with the concept to bring here. And it's been amazing. It's packed all the time.
That is great. All right, enough about the good stuff, because
Gotcha.
obviously I'm from Willard and we're better. Anyways.
What?
So what are some like cons about Nixa?
Our biggest, what I would consider a con, is we had exponential residential growth, which is great.
Everyone wants to be here because of school.
Everyone wants to be here,
Yeah.
Which did drive up the cost of property and made it a little bit difficult for a business to be able to come in. Because the profit margin just wasn't there when you had to pay so much for a piece of land. But on the plus side of that, there's a lot of things that we're doing right now to help kind of bridge that gap and help bring in some new businesses.
So it's just too expensive.
Yep.
Because everybody wants to be here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the way to make money off your land is to subdivide it and build a neighborhood. So that definitely is a con, but I do think that we're moving in the right direction by upgrading infrastructure towards the west and south of town to help grow out that way, bring in some additional commercial developments. And a lot of people ask, is that good for our current businesses that are here? Because we don't have a lot of restaurants and a lot of businesses, but the ones we do have are very successful. I think anything we can do to bring more people into town is going to help those other businesses.
So another pro, we're actually walking past it. We're at the Macaulay Park here in Nixa, and we're walking right past the new, what is this?
This is our brand new all-inclusive playground. Our playground before, it was for kids of one ability, and this is for kids of all abilities. And so it doesn't matter if they are in a wheelchair, if they have any other special needs. There's actually swings set up to where a kid and parent can swing at the same time looking at each other. So we also have one of the, I think it's one of only 5 in the nation, the arch that's over there. That's actually an interactive.
Oh, wow.
It's interactive. You use your phone and you select games.
What?
And you play different games that are projected on the ground.
Man, back in my day, we didn't have all this bougie park stuff. These kids are so spoiled these days.
Squeaky swings.
This is my favorite question.
Okay.
So for someone that is from a whole different world, obviously around the world, but not from around here, what would you tell someone about Nixa? Like, how would you sell someone on the community of Nixa? If they are from like Utah or California or whatever, they have no idea what it's like to even live in Missouri. So what would you tell them about Nixa? How would you try to sell it?
I personally believe the best place to live in the Ozarks is Nixa. The people here, kind of like what I said.
Statement.
I tell you what, the people here are great. The schools are nationally recognized.
Wow.
We have right now, we're number 4th safest city in the state of Missouri.
Now that's something to be proud of.
We continue to fully fund our police department.
Wow.
So we own our own utilities and actually have one of the lowest utility rates in the state. Just recently, while everyone else was raising their electric rates, we lowered ours.
Wow.
And so as far as cost of living, it's very low in Nixa.
Yeah.
I will preface that by county taxes are higher.
Christian County.
Yes, but sales tax in Nixa, even though we did a public safety tax recently, we're still lower than all of the surrounding communities.
Wow.
And so it's cheaper to buy things here. But then outside of that, you're also centrally located. In 35 minutes, you can be in the water at Table Rock Lake.
That is true.
35 minutes, you can be shopping at Tanger. 20 minutes, you can be shopping in Springfield. We're centrally located, so there's so much around us to do, but there's also so much inside our community to do that you really don't need to leave if you don't want to.
For sure. Well, Nixa for the longest time was really the only city outside of Springfield that had like the big businesses. Like I know Walmart's kind of been here, but you guys just have a lot of good stuff here. My wife actually taught at Matthews Elementary for 3 years, so I can't like be mad against Nixa or anything.
Well, yeah. So then it's the best school in the area.
Matthews Elementary was like the place to send your kids from what I heard. But I don't know if that's changed or not.
All of them are great.
Yeah.
I haven't had any bad experiences, but also in my opinion, it's what you put into it. So we've stayed pretty involved in our kids with school. And
you hit the nail on the head there. Like, it's what you put into it.
Yeah.
So what sets Nixa schools apart obviously you're not as good as Willard, like where I came from, but just kidding.
At what? Again, I'm still trying to figure this out.
Do you know how many people have moved from out of the states that we've helped move here and they want Nixa automatically? Nixa and Ozark. Now, I kind of say that a lot, like a lot of people move to those, but man, it's proven over and over again how great Nixa schools are. So what makes Nixa schools so good?
There's a couple sides to this. One, it goes back to what I said earlier, which is it's what you put into it.
Yeah.
And the administration at Nixa schools, every teacher, every principal, they're willing to take that phone call. No matter what it's about, you want to call and chat, they're going to have that phone call. So our teachers, they go above and beyond what most do. All that extra work that they put into it and put into the students, it shows. It shows by test scores, it shows by athletics. It shows on many different levels. That's kind of one thing about Nixa as a whole is, the city council and the school board and the administration at the schools, the administration at the city, it's just a phone call away.
That's what you said. Just call me.
Yeah, I don't ever let any of them go unanswered, and neither do my council members. I've never had any issues with the schools. If I need something, I make a phone call and they usually answer or they call back. For sure. And so I think communication there is what helps make our schools so much better. And not saying that they don't do it at Willard, but it's not uncommon to see a teacher sitting up at the park on a Saturday watching her students play in flag football or softball or soccer. And so they go all in. So the next one is, if people want to move to Nixa, what's the biggest employer around here? And this actually kind of goes back to my campaign, running for mayor. I wanted to make it to where Nixa is a place where you can live, eat, and play. And one-stop shop. That's kind of been an issue with employment here. Our biggest employers, most people don't know, Bass Pro has a lot of employers here in Nixa.
Really?
Their fabrication shop is right over off 160. Mercy and Cox both have decent sized facilities here. Nixa Public Schools, I think they employ over 1,400 people. Wow. I just actually spoke at their big kickoff event, and there was over 1,100 teachers there. And so they're a large employer too.
And that's 0.5% of the whole population.
Yeah. And everyone in Nixa is hiring pretty much. The city's hiring, the schools are always hiring. And then we also have what most people don't think about, Diversified and Fleischmann's. So Fleischmann's vinegar is made right over off Main Street.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so if you're standing in the right spot on the right day, smell that vinegar. And I actually used to live downwind from it. And
some of the most flattering smell ever.
And you get used to it after a while. And Diversified, they make some parts for General Motors.
Really?
So they do like plastic molding and different things like that.
Because I'm a Ford guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be bragging about that,
I got a Toyota, so.
I'm just kidding. Is there anything else kind of like that? Obviously, there's local businesses.
We have a lot of local businesses that are hiring, but the one thing is over the past 2 years, we've missed out on a lot of larger manufacturing companies coming here, mainly because we didn't really have the infrastructure set up on the west side of town, and our industrial park is also out of space. So that's another thing that we're looking to do as a city, is creating another industrial park.
Yeah.
That will be site ready, where if someone needs 80,000 square feet and they're gonna add 400 jobs, we can do it.
Yeah. Where do you guys plan on moving that?
I would like to keep it close to the current industrial park.
So is that right across from Walmart?
Yes.
That whole, okay. Because I saw that Total High Speed is over there.
Yeah, they grew so fast.
Well, yeah, it's the only rural internet out there.
Yep.
Unless you want satellite, but.
And that is another good thing about Nixa, is the internet. Some areas, they're replacing a lot of the cable because it's older.
Yeah.
Pretty much every new house that's being built, they're laying down fiber, and
holy moly.
I get a gig up, gig down, which is nice when you have kids that stream everything.
So where do you live in Nixa? Don't tell me your address or anything, but do you live over by Wicklow? Because I'm a big fan of Wicklow. If you are looking for a house neighborhood in Nixa, Wicklow is the place to be. And
you'd have the best neighbor ever. That's where I live.
Yeah, Wicklow is amazing.
It's like a community all in itself. I love living over there.
When I was looking for a house, I was looking in Wicklow. With being a realtor, I have to be centrally located.
Yeah.
So I have to I just ended up on the east side of Springfield.
It's only 12 minutes from Meridian.
It really is. But I don't always just go to Meridian, every day. So I noticed that there's some like Frisbee golf stuff. Have you ever done it?
I did a long time ago, and I've been meaning to do it again. And I was told by the parks director, I just need to go in there and grab a couple discs, got a lost and found, and I could come play. Which maybe we go get some discs and try one hole or something.
Never know.
But it's actually used a lot. There's some weekends that there may be 50 or 60 people out here doing a little tournament.
Moly.
And you know, it's small things like that that kind of push economic development in our community.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the people that I see out here, they have like full-on suitcases full of discs.
Well, there's like the putter, and then like all the Frisbees are different what I've seen. I've never played it. But you said that there's 18 holes. Like it's a full course.
Yep.
That's amazing. You don't see that, you know, in every community. So let's talk about housing. You know, obviously my favorite. Actually, you know, you work in kind of housing indirectly. What is the chances of people finding places to rent around here if they were to want to rent?
You know, rental houses are difficult to find right now in Nixa, because it's kind of a lot of people who rent houses in Nixa are coming here to get their kids into the district and plan on eventually buying a home, so they don't really leave. And then it takes probably about an hour to find a new tenant on any rental home.
Yeah, I mean, we own a few rentals, Springfield, you know, and surrounding cities, but our Nixa one, it's about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 1,500 square feet, like nothing amazing.
That's the sweet spot though.
But literally, it's like $1,700 a month. Like the prices are kind of getting crazy, but like you said, people want to get their kids in schools.
Yep.
I mean, that's the main reason why people are moving to Nixa is the school district.
And they love the mayor.
So besides renting, obviously people can buy homes here.
Yes, it became quite an issue kind of during the pandemic, finding houses. They could not build them fast enough.
Oh, I know.
And I think they're finally getting caught up in this area. There's a couple new neighborhoods that just recently started. And then a lot of builders have started their phase 3 or phase 4 of the current neighborhoods that they were working on. But I mean, you go around and look, and it's crazy how quick they're already selling.
For sure. From what we've seen, obviously we're a real estate company in Springfield, Missouri. This is our area as well, like Nixa is, and we help a lot of people move into the area. It's not that hard to find a house in Nixa. You guys have a plethora of older homes and newer homes. It's just trying to figure out what neighborhood best fits them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even the older neighborhoods in Nixa, it's still, I mean, those were the people who were here when I first moved here, and still great people. I don't feel like you're gonna find a bad neighborhood in Nixa. I mean, it's just everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I walk this whole area right here, actually, in the evenings. I usually walk about between 5 and 6 miles, make a big loop, and doesn't matter where I walk, people are, saying hi and how's it going, and that's just, and I go through probably 5 different neighborhoods on my walk.
And what's great is, I mean, I'm gonna say it again, there is not a lack of residential homes in Nixa for sale, which is great because of the schools that people want to get in it, they can. So Nixa and just the Ozarks in general is all about festivals, summer, fall, spring, winter, chili cook-offs and everything. What is something that Nixa does every year that's annually that people, the community gets together?
So the biggest thing Nixa's known for is the Nixa Sucker Days.
What is
Most
that?
people don't even know what that is. They thought it's like a lollipop or anything, but it's a sucker fish. This started, man, I can't remember how many years ago.
Like the fish you see on the side of a aquarium, like it just sucks?
No, a little different than that. This one actually, and the way they catch it is they stand on ladders on the bank of the river. And they throw a hook out there and they hook them. Or
gosh, what a sucker fish.
Right? Or they gig them, so they throw a spear at them. But what happened was these guys, they'd caught a whole bunch of sucker fish and they decided they wanted to feed the community. And so they started it one year, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. I remember coming to it when I first moved to Nixa. I was like, I didn't even know what a sucker fish was. And so, eating sucker fish, and then they make all this other stuff, and they make sucker soup. Don't ever eat that.
Oh my gosh.
That's
sucker
everything
soup.
left over from the fish, they make a soup out of it. Last year, I mean, it brought in thousands and thousands of people. And we just recently have added some new things into it, Sucker Mania. So there's some pro wrestlers that come down. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. You know, we also do, every year we have the big Nixpo, which supports local businesses, but we also do the Nixa Arts and Crafts Fair that's at the junior high every year.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many hundred vendors there are there.
I think my mom was there.
But it's packed.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely packed. I mean, the citywide garage sale is pretty popular.
I do like when that happens. My wife loves garage sales. I'm not a big fan.
I'm over them.
All right, I got some lightning round questions for you to wrap this up. It's Friday night. What's your go-to? What do you do?
During football season, we get to the football stadium about 4:30.
Because it's all about the community.
We set up cornhole boards. Some games we have fish fries. We do smash burgers. We order food from Coyotes or Big Whiskeys and tailgate. Usually a lot of different parents come by. Coaches' wives will stop by, say hi, get ready for the game, and then we go into the stadium. And of course, watch our Nixa Eagles win.
Sometimes.
But outside of football season, last Friday night we went up to 14 Mill and got a bite to eat, listened to some live music, played cornhole, played bocce ball.
Well, you also got B&B theaters if you don't want to go into Springfield.
Yep.
Which I think you and Ozark share it. I don't know who owns that.
It's right there. I know. Yeah. And really, I mean, you can watch any game at Getting Basted, Big Whiskeys, Coyotes, Rocco's Pizza, another hidden gem over there on 14.
So during the summertime, your big thing is to go out to restaurants and stuff on Friday night.
Yep.
What about it's extremely cold, winter time? What do you do on a Friday night?
They're installing heaters at the 14 Mill Market out on the patio, and they have fire pits.
So you're just all about that 14 Mill.
Once football season's over, obviously, there are other sports. Basketball starts up. We don't miss a basketball game. And we normally will do, happy hour appetizer or something at one of the restaurants, and then head up to the high school, watch boys or girls basketball, or and they get into volleyball season, swim season. We just like going to the sporting events. Yeah.
So basically the biggest thing that I heard were a couple things about Nixa. You guys are really big on your community, really big on your schools, which leads straight into sports. So those are the three main things that Nixa prides itself, and the residential, neighbors and everything, or neighborhoods. Is there anything that Nixa is amazing at that you can give them something about?
Looking forward, honestly. That's one thing that we're really good at. And the problem is the community doesn't hear all of those meetings and what we're planning for the future, the people that we're getting involved, because you being in real estate, there's times where you can't say what's coming on or what's coming in and what's going on, but just the forward thinking that the city staff, the council, schools, I mean, everyone is looking into the future and trying to do more to bring in better things. And it really, I mean, it's hard for the schools because keeping up with that growth. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's harder than us trying to keep up with the growth with the infrastructure and everything. But just the forward thinking of everyone that works at the city. It's all great people, and they just want to see Nixa continue to get better.
Well, thank you so much for doing this for me.
Yeah.
Man. I really appreciate you. Thank you. And you say, watch for deer?
Watch for deer.
Yeah.
And don't forget, watch for deer.